Ever pondered why the sudden sound of a car horn makes you turn your head, or why an unexpected flash of light catches your attention? A rhetorical question, you may think. Yet it hides a fascinating truth about our brains, about how we as a species have evolved to respond to our environment. In the vast web of human consciousness, there exists a mechanism, a silent sentinel, ever watchful, ever vigilant, responding to the merest hint of novelty. This is the orienting reflex, a concept as intriguing as the unknown itself. The orienting reflex is our brain's way of ensuring we survive. It's our built-in radar, our early warning system that alerts us to anything new or different in our surroundings. When a sudden sound or a flash of light enters our sensory field, it's the orienting reflex that makes us turn our heads, that makes us pay attention. It's a reflex that's as automatic as breathing, yet it plays a crucial role in how we interact with the world. From the time our ancestors roamed the vast plains of the prehistoric world, this reflex has been an indispensable part of our survival toolkit. The rustle of leaves might signal a predator lurking in the shadows. The sudden silence of birdsong could indicate an approaching storm. The orienting reflex allowed our ancestors to respond to these signals, to orient themselves towards the source of novelty, and adapt their behavior accordingly. Today, in our high-tech, fast-paced world, the orienting reflex still plays a vital role. It's what makes us look up from our smartphones when a cyclist whizzes past, or makes us turn off the highway when we see an unexpected detour sign. It's the silent sentinel that keeps us safe, that helps us navigate the complexities of the modern world. So the next time you find yourself responding to a sudden sound or an unexpected sight, remember this. Your brain is hardwired to respond to novelty. It's part of our survival instinct. This response, dear listeners, is the orienting reflex. So what exactly is this orienting reflex we speak of? Let's dive right in. The orienting reflex, also known as the orienting response, is a term coined by the Russian physiologist Ivan Pavlov. It's essentially our brain's automatic response to something new or significant in our environment. Picture this. You're sitting in a quiet room engrossed in a book. Suddenly, there's a loud noise outside. Without even thinking about it, your attention immediately shifts from your book to the source of the noise. That, my friends, is the orienting reflex in action. But why does our brain do this? The answer lies in our evolutionary past. Our ancestors needed to be constantly aware of their surroundings for survival. A rustling in the bushes could be a predator, or a new fruit on a tree could be a potential food source. By paying attention to these novel stimuli, our ancestors improved their chances of survival. Fast forward to the present day, we might not be dodging predators on a daily basis, but our brain still retains this instinctual response. A sudden loud noise might indicate danger, or a new smell might mean food is ready. The orienting reflex helps us navigate through our environment by directing our attention to important stimuli. In the world of neuroscience, the orienting reflex is considered a fundamental aspect of attention. It's a built-in feature of our brain that helps us stay alert and responsive to the world around us. It's not something we consciously control. It's an automatic, subconscious process. So, the next time you find your attention suddenly drawn to a new sound, sight, or smell, remember, it's not you being easily distracted. It's your brain doing what it's been designed to do, ensuring your survival and well-being in a world full of constant changes. In essence, the orienting reflex is your brain's way of saying, hold on, this is new, let's pay attention. Now, how does our brain respond to these novel stimuli? When we encounter something new, something we haven't seen, heard, or experienced before, our brain springs into action. It's like a detective, sifting through the raw data of our senses, trying to make sense of the unknown. This is where the orienting reflex, a key player in our brain's response to novelty, steps in. The orienting reflex acts as an automatic spotlight, drawing our attention to the new, the unexpected, the out of the ordinary. It's an ancient survival mechanism, honed over millions of years of evolution. Think of it as our brain's early warning system, always on the lookout for potential threats or opportunities in our environment. As soon as our senses detect something new, the orienting reflex is triggered. It sends a signal to our brain's processing centers, particularly the thalamus and the frontal cortex, the hubs of attention and decision-making. These areas start to scrutinize the new stimulus, trying to figure out what it is, and more importantly, what it means for us. This analysis happens in a split second. We might not even be aware of it, but it's vital for our survival. If the new stimulus is a threat like a snake slithering in the grass, our brain prepares our body to take action, to fight or to flight. If it's an opportunity, like a ripe fruit hanging from a tree, our brain readies us to seize it. But it's not just about survival. The orienting reflex also fuels our curiosity, our thirst for knowledge. It's why we're drawn to the new, the mysterious, the unexplored. It's why we ask questions, why we explore, why we innovate. So the next time you're captivated by something new, remember, it's your orienting reflex at work, steering your attention, preparing your body, shaping your actions. It's your brain doing what it does best, making sense of the world, one novel stimulus at a time. The orienting reflex ensures we are ready to react, whether it's to avoid danger or to seize an opportunity. But how does the orienting reflex play out in our everyday life? Let's dive into a few examples to illustrate this fascinating process. Imagine you're walking down a bustling city street, lost in thought. Suddenly a car honks loudly, breaking your reverie. Your heart rate quickens, your focus sharpens. That, my friends, is the orienting reflex at work. Your brain, having detected something new and potentially vital in your surroundings, has momentarily shifted your attention from your thoughts to the source of the sound. Or picture yourself at a bustling party, engrossed in a deep conversation. Out of the corner of your eye, you notice a friend you haven't seen in years. Even though you're engaged in the conversation, your attention quickly diverts to your long-lost friend. This is another instance of the orienting reflex. Your brain has prioritized the novel stimulus, the unexpected appearance of your friend, over the ongoing conversation. Now let us ponder on how the orienting reflex impacts our decision-making. Suppose you're at a restaurant, torn between two dishes you like. Suddenly the waiter mentions a new dish they've just introduced. Your interest is piqued, your decision sways. The novelty of the new dish triggered your orienting reflex, making it an attractive choice. It's important to note that the orienting reflex isn't always about life or death situations. More often, it's about navigating the sea of stimuli we're exposed to every day. It helps us decide what deserves our attention, what to ignore, and how to respond. Remember, the orienting reflex isn't about fear or surprise alone. It's about novelty. It's about our brain's constant effort to keep us safe, informed, and ready to respond to the ever-changing world around us. So, next time you find your attention inexplicably drawn towards something new, remember, it's your brain doing its job, keeping you alert and ready to act. Whether it's a sudden noise or an unexpected opportunity, the orienting reflex keeps us alert and ready to act. But what happens when the orienting reflex is disrupted? Now that's a question that leads us into the realm of the unusual, the unexpected, and the downright fascinating. You see, our brains are like finely tuned machines, and when one part of the system is disrupted, it can have a ripple effect on our behavior and attention. Imagine for a moment a condition known as ADHD, attention deficit/hyperactivity disorder. It's a neurological condition that can disrupt the orienting reflex. When this happens, the ability to focus attention, especially on non-stimulating tasks, becomes a Herculean task. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while all the other stations are blaring at full volume. Quite a cacophony, isn't it? But it's not just ADHD. Other neurological conditions such as autism spectrum disorders and sensory processing disorders can also disrupt the orienting reflex. In these situations, the brain may either overreact or underreact to sensory stimuli. It's akin to having a faulty alarm system that either goes off at the slightest rustle of leaves or fails to sound even when there's a full-blown storm. The impact of these disruptions can be significant. Imagine being unable to filter out irrelevant background noise while trying to have a conversation, or being overwhelmed by the feel of a fabric against your skin. It's like living in a world where everything is cranked up to maximum volume, maximum intensity. The world becomes a whirl of sensations, all clamoring for attention. The flip side of this is that when the orienting reflex is disrupted, it can sometimes lead to heightened abilities in other areas. For instance, some people with autism spectrum disorders may have exceptional skills in music or art, or have an extraordinary memory. It's as if the brain, in trying to compensate for the disruption, ends up supercharging other parts. In conclusion, a disruption to the orienting reflex can significantly impact how we interact with the world around us. It can be a challenge, but it can also open up new ways of experiencing and understanding the world. It's a testament to the incredible adaptability and resilience of the human brain. Now, isn't that something to marvel at? So how can understanding the orienting reflex benefit us, you might ask? Well, it offers a world of practical applications that can enhance our daily lives in ways you might not have imagined. Let's start with learning. We're all students in the school of life, and the orienting reflex can be a powerful tool in our educational journey. When we encounter something new or unexpected, our brain naturally pays more attention. This heightened state of focus is a fertile ground for learning. By intentionally introducing novelty into our learning process, we can leverage our brain's natural curiosity and enhance our ability to absorb new information. Next, let's talk about attention. Our modern world is a whirlwind of distractions, making it challenging to maintain focus. The orienting reflex, however, can be our ally. By understanding how our brain responds to novelty, we can structure our environments and tasks to optimize attention. For instance, taking regular breaks during work to engage with something new can refresh our orienting reflex, allowing us to return to our tasks with renewed focus. Finally, let's discuss stress management. Stress often arises when we feel overwhelmed by the unknown. However, if we understand the orienting reflex, we can see the unknown not as a threat, but as an opportunity for engagement and curiosity. This shift in perspective can help us manage stress more effectively by encouraging us to approach novel situations with openness and intrigue rather than fear. So, you see, the orienting reflex is more than just a fascinating quirk of our brain. It's a powerful tool that we can harness to enhance our learning, improve our attention, and manage our stress. By understanding and harnessing the power of the orienting reflex, we can improve our interaction with the world and our overall well-being. So, what can we take away from our exploration of the orienting reflex? To begin with, we've discovered that the orienting reflex is an automatic response to novelty. It's our brain's way of directing our attention towards something new or unexpected in our environment. A rustle in the bushes, the flicker of movement in our peripheral vision, an unexpected sound, these all trigger the orienting reflex, causing us to immediately focus our attention on the source of the novelty. We've also learned that the orienting reflex is not just about curiosity or fear. It's an essential survival mechanism that has evolved over millions of years. By directing our attention to potential threats or opportunities in our environment, the orienting reflex gives us a split-second advantage, the difference between life and death in a world filled with predators and prey. But the orienting reflex isn't just about survival, it's also about learning and exploration. When we encounter something new, our orienting reflex not only directs our attention towards it, but also primes us to learn from it. It's why children are such avid explorers, constantly turning over rocks, poking at bugs, and asking endless questions. Their orienting reflex is in overdrive, propelling them to learn and understand the world around them. We've also touched upon how disruptions to the orienting reflex can lead to challenges in attention regulation, such as ADHD or sensory processing disorders. Understanding the role of the orienting reflex in these conditions can help us develop more effective treatments and interventions. It highlights the importance of novelty and change in maintaining our attention and focus. Lastly, we've seen how we can harness the power of the orienting reflex to enhance our learning, productivity, and creativity. By introducing novelty and variation into our routines, we can keep our brains engaged and alert, improving our ability to focus and absorb information. It's a simple but powerful tool that we can all use to boost our cognitive performance. So as we wrap up our exploration of the orienting reflex, let's take a moment to appreciate this remarkable little mechanism. It's a testament to the complexity and adaptability of our brains, a constant reminder of our deep-seated curiosity and our innate desire to understand and engage with the world around us. And as we go about our daily lives, let's remember the role of the orienting reflex in shaping our experiences. It's there in the thrill of discovery, the joy of learning something new, the sharp intake of breath at a sudden surprise. It's there in the quiet moments of reflection, when our attention is drawn to a beautiful sunset or a bird's song. Remember, every time you turn your head at a new sound, or your heart skips a beat at a sudden movement, that's your orienting reflex, keeping you alert and ready to engage with the world. Before we wrap up, let's put our newfound knowledge into practice. Remember, the orienting reflex is not just a topic of study, but a part of our daily lives. It's embedded in every moment of surprise, every new discovery, and every sudden change in our environment. So, how can we engage with it more consciously? Start by observing your own reactions to novelty. Notice when your attention is drawn towards something new or unexpected. Is it a sudden sound, a movement in your peripheral vision, a change in your environment? These are your orienting reflex at work. Pay attention to these moments and try to understand what triggered your orienting reflex. This awareness can help you better understand your reactions and adapt to your environment. You can also experiment with introducing more novelty into your routines. Try a new route to work, learn a new skill, or explore a new place. These changes will stimulate your orienting reflex, keeping your brain engaged and alert. As we've learned, this can enhance your learning, productivity, and creativity. So don't be afraid to mix things up a bit. Embrace the new and unexpected. That's the essence of the orienting reflex. That's it for our journey into the brain's novelty response. If you found this video informative and interesting, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more such content. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep engaging with the world around you. Remember, every new experience is an opportunity to learn and grow. And your orienting reflex is there to guide you every step of the way.